This might be a bit of TMI. Literally, my bit of my plaque from my teeth fell off. Hi everybody, welcome back to Zevaulia with me Zeva, and in this video I will be sharing with you my take on oil pulling based on my experiences. I'm sure that a lot of you out there already know what oil pulling is. Maybe you're an oil puller yourself, or maybe even you don't know what oil pulling is. Doesn't matter. In this video you'll be getting a lot of information based on the background of oil pulling, why is it beneficial, even the debate surrounding oil pulling. Oil pulling is the act of swishing 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil in your mouth until it catches the bad bacteria, it catches the viruses and all the gunk in your mouth, and then you spew it out and all the bad nasty stuff go out with it. And people have been doing this to rebalance the oral microbiome in your mouth. So what are the claims that oil pulling could do for the health and your well-being, not only orally but also every part of your body? The dentistry world, or the dentists themselves, think about oil pulling. Do they support it? Are they against it? Well, actually, since the 90s, there have been numerous studies towards oil pulling. And basically, out of all these studies, the majority of them agree that oil pulling is non-hazardous, it is non-toxic, and it is good for your health. It does have benefits for your health, but it's considered as a CAM, or complementary alternative medicine, which means that, of course, it will not substitute the importance of brushing your teeth and flossing your teeth. You will still need to do both of those. However, you can also oil pull to gain extra benefits for the strength of your oral microbiome. To be more specific, dentists themselves, they are in general divided in 2 polar opposites. So the first polar, they actually believe that oil pulling is not only preventative, but it's also curative. On the second side, they believe that oil pulling, well, it could be a preventative, method for your oral microbiome, but for the curative effects, they're not very sure about it. They're kind of skeptical about it. Now, for me, I am more towards the first side. Based on my experience, I have felt there's benefits from oil pulling since the past couple of years. Now that you have a general idea of what oil pulling is, let's go back into its history. How was this concept even found in the first place? So oil pulling actually derived in Ayurvedic practices in India. So what they used back then is sesame oil, but nowadays people use more extra virgin coconut oil, especially because of the various researchers out there that coconut oil is beneficial for your health. So in Ayurvedic practices, oil pulling is actually a part of Shalakya Tantra, or systematic surgery, and it claims to be able to cure 30, yes that's right, 30 systematic diseases, both not only oral, but also throughout your body. And this is what is contested by various medical health professionals out there. However, many people also starting to realize that maybe it cannot cure every diseases in your body, but it does balances your oral microbiome at least. So in Ayurvedic texts, oil pulling is a part of Charaka Samhita, and there are 2 methods of oil pulling. The first is Kavya Graha, and the second is Kandusha. In Kavya Graha, you only have to put 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil and swish it around your mouth. But Kandusha, you actually have to fill your mouth with oil and just stay there until it kind of rinses itself out, and then you spew it out. But the most popular method is Kavala Graha. So even though oil pulling has been done for thousands of years in India through its Ayurvedic practices, it actually gained traction or popularity in modern world from the 90s. So a physician from Ukraine called Dr. Kailash, he was the one that made it popular when he made a presentation when he was in Russia. Researchers said that coconut oil is the best, especially the fact that it contains lauric acid, and this lauric acid has the capacity to actually kill bacteria, like the negative bacteria, without hurting the positive bacteria, which is perfect for your oral microbiome. So another reason why I think oil pulling works is because of this very reason. So microorganisms consist of a cell, and this cell is actually covered by what is called a lipid, and lipid is the fatty membrane of the cell's skin. So when the cells contact the oil in your mouth, it naturally sticks to it, it adheres to it. Why? Because oil itself is also fat. So why is that the bad bacteria is able to be lifted out of your mouth is because it adheres or it sticks to the oils, which also contains fat. So you have the lipid or the fatty membrane of the cells, which is the cells of the bacteria itself, the microorganisms, sticking to the oil substances, which is also fat. So there's like a reaction between both, and then you spew it out. And remember that oil is also an emollient. There are two methods, general methods, that people use on how to oil pull. And these are, a bit conflicting in certain aspects. So this is the first method. And this is the second method. And the big difference between the first and the second method is that in the first method, you oil pull before you brush your teeth. And the second method is that you oil pull after you brush your teeth. For me, I oil pull after I brush my teeth. In the beginning, when I first started doing oil pulling, it was quite a long while. I actually oil pulled before I brushed my teeth. Why would you want to oil pull after you brush your teeth? Everybody is comfortable in their own way, and I think both sides has its own effectivity, and it doesn't really matter, but this is the reason why. So I read various research by a few dentists out there, including Dr. Burhan. So as we know, our mouth is a gateway to our body, right? It's connected to various things, to the bloodstream and the nerves and all of that. And imagine this, there are billions of bacteria in our mouth. In a clean mouth, there is approximately 1,000 to 100,000 bacteria on each tooth. That's positive and negative bacteria on each tooth. And in an unclean mouth, there is approximately 100 million until 1 billion bacteria on each tooth. Can you imagine? Ew. But that's just the fact of life. There is a colony in there. Literally colonization by bacteria in our mouth. If you oil pull after brushing, these are the benefits that you will get based on these studies. One is that you will retain good bacteria. Two, you will rebalance the oral microbiome. And three, you will recondition the biofilm on your tooth to retain more healthy, good bacteria. So you might wonder, if you oil pull after you brush your teeth, wouldn't that make your mouth like oily? So the solution to that is just use a salt rinse. How to make a salt rinse is you need a glass of water, lukewarm at best, put salt in it, stir it around, gargle on it, and spit it out, and you're done. All the oiliness will go away. And how long you have to swish oil around your mouth? And is it better to swish for longer, or is it also enough to just swish for 3 to 5 minutes? Because not everybody has the luxury of 20 minutes to 30 minutes in the morning. So when you oil pull for longer periods of time, this means that more saliva will come out of your mouth, which also means that it will help draw out toxins out of your mouth. And this will be, deposited out of your system. And as you oil pull for longer, you will notice that the oil will become thinner and it will be whiter. This is because it's already combined with your saliva and with all the bacteria, the negative bacteria, the viruses, and every other gunk in your mouth. And this is a good sign. Now, next section, let us see what exactly science says about oil pulling. So there are currently various research on oil pulling, as I previously said. However, these research are short-term studies and not long-term studies. The first is that it is a proof that oil pulling can help prevent plaque buildup. Another fact is that it reduces the short-term risk of gingivitis. Nobody wants gingivitis, and while it prevents gingivitis, it also in the future, in the long run, could prevent periodontitis. Another fact based on a study is that oil pulling could help remineralize your teeth. However, there are various conditions to this. The first is that you would need proper nutrients, and the second is that there has to be an absence of cavity-causing bacteria. This bacteria is called Streptococcus mutans, and when Streptococcus mutans multiplies, it will secrete more toxins in your bloodstream, which will go into your body. And as we know, our oral or our mouth area connects with other parts of the body through the bloodstream and also our nervous system. So we have to be careful. And if the Streptococcus mutans increases, it actually could release toxins inside of the bloodstream and cause various chronic diseases. And when there is this bacteria, it also increases the existence of cytokine interleukin or IL-12. And some of the examples of these chronic diseases are leukemia, stroke, heart disease, meningitis, pneumonia, sinusitis, and even dementia, and others as well. And when you oil pull regularly, around 3 weeks, it can help kill the bad bacteria in your mouth. And this is a healthier alternative to over-the-counter mouthwashes, because over-the-counter mouthwashes, they actually kill even the good bacteria in your mouth. Another good thing about oil pulling is that it reduces halitosis or bad breath without reducing saliva, and it also could help regulate a steady pH in your saliva. This might be a bit of TMI, too much information, but I believe I have to share this just to let you guys know that it does work. I was switching, right? I was switching, oil pulling, and this was not in the first, second, third go. I think this is like a few weeks in. And I noticed that when I spat my oil out, a bit of my plaque fell off. Literally, a bit of my plaque from my teeth fell off. You know, I am someone who takes care of my teeth well, especially that I have braces on. It just motivates me more to really take care of my teeth. When you're wearing your braces, there are parts of your teeth that is very hard to reach, even if I floss, even if I brush my teeth. So there will be a bit of plaque there. And I just realized I just fell out. It just fell like that. And I'm like, oh my god, it's a miracle. So that's why I recommend those people out there who have braces. Every one of you have braces, you have to oil pull. I'm not kidding. It helps with your, cleaning regimen. Okay, another point why I believe that oil pulling works is this incident that happened to me. So when you oil pull, you're actually not allowed to swallow the oils because it's filled with bacteria and all the gunk in your mouth and even some viruses in there. Like, just don't do it, because if you do even accidentally swallow it, this may happen to you. It will not always happen, but it may happen, and it happened to me. So I swallowed by accident a little bit of the oil. TMI, but whatever, I got diarrhea. Legit. And also one thing that I haven't mentioned is that when you oil pull, the gunk in your mouth, you have to throw it away, not in the sink, because it will clog your sink because of the coconut. It can become dense. So you have to throw away like in your rubbish bin, or you can get like old pieces of newspaper, just throw it there and then put it in the rubbish bin. Easy as that. And it's much more safer, environmentally friendly too. My skin just became more glowing, like healthy glow, I don't really have a history of really bad acne, so I can't attest to that, but there are people out there that said that it cured or at least helped with their acne to go away because there's a aiding in detoxification. But I can attest that my skin just feels much more, I don't know, it's healthier and bouncier, and maybe it's also because of other products that I use, but I think that ever since I oil pulled, it just amplifies that. So that's also another proof. Now another thing that also I experienced from oil pulling is that I noticed that my teeth is just more healthy looking. I wouldn't say that it whitens my teeth, because I also asked my orthodontist and she says that teeth is not naturally like pearly white. It's not. So if you see someone with like super white teeth, it's either they bleached it or they're wearing veneers, full stop. And also, I have once had bleeding gums. It's nothing serious, but after I oil pulled, it really healed it much more quicker. So it's definitely beneficial for your gums. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. I hope that all the breadth of information that I have shared will be useful for you, whether you are already an oil puller or it's your first time and you're really interested to try it out. And don't forget to use coconut oil, extra virgin coconut oil, to do your oil pulling, because it's the healthier option. But you can use other oils as well, but the safest option is sesame oil and also VCO. And if you have any suggestions of what kind of content you want to see in my channel relating to the topic that is the concept of my channel, let me know in the comment sections down below, and who knows, I can make it come true for you. And see you in the next video. Bye!